People call me up asking for help with their home. Either they feel they have mold troubles, or they're sick in their house, or they're about to undertake some projects and they don't know where to start, which project should I do, how much it's going to cost me. I'm here to help them with those questions. Hi, I'm Rick Bayless with A Healthier Home, and I'm here to help. Home inspections, there's a difference. Some people call me the house doctor. The difference is I'm looking at what does it take to make this environment healthy for you, and what does it take to maintain the healthiness of the house itself. Not does this house meet code, is this house safe? That's important, but is this house healthy? So we have to take a look at your house because these drivers of healthiness or unhealthiness are all around the house. They start outside, up at the gutter system and the drains and downspouts. You take a look over in the crawl space, is often a sore spot for a house. What about the furnace in the basement and the appliances down there? How about in the bathroom and up in the attic? We've got to go through the house together, inch by inch, to figure out what are the things that are supporting healthiness inside the house, and let's identify some projects they'd be helpful to do to achieve better healthiness for the good of the house and for good of the occupants. Of course, before we look at the house, we have to have a conversation first of what are the ills that you're suffering in the house. Tell me about how you feel, the odors you've smelled, what you've noticed about the house, what you've done for the house, what your questions are about the house. Let's start with that conversation first. Then we go take a look at the house together. The inspection starts outside. It's all around managing bulk water. That's what we're after out here. We take a look at things like the gutters, the roof, the downspout, the drainage system. We got to move that bulk water away from the house and away from the foundation of the house. As we move around the house, we looked at the gutters in the front, but on the side of the house, there's some other issues. I see the garden hose out here, so we'll check that as we go into the house. What about the heat pump or air conditioner? I could answer those questions for the homeowner. What about these two white pipes over here? What are those for? I could answer those questions. Those are there for a reason. We've got to understand what the reason is and be sure they're functioning properly. We'll go through that together. Around this side of the air conditioner, we'd take a look at what's that green disc on the ground? Well, that's a termite inspection station. Let's be sure that system's functioning properly. Also over here is here's the termite inspection station. There's this, what's this square on the foundation of the house? Well, that's a foundation vent that's been blocked off. We'll be sure that it's okay to leave that in place. All these things we see around the house, if it's here for a reason. Let's be sure it's still doing the job it's supposed to do. We'll go through each of these items one at a time. I was called out to this house because the homeowner was having troubles. Their allergies were acting up. They couldn't breathe in the house. They smelled mold, musty, moldy odors. They thought it was mold. And at this house, the issue was, one of the big issues is with the backyard, the water coming off the roof system, the water coming from the back slope up against the foundation, wetting the crawl space. And it was important to do something about carrying all this water coming out off the house and off the backyard around the house. All those things were important to control bulk water in the house, to bring down the dampness level of the house, to bring down the mold activity so the homeowner could breathe better in the house. We have to look up closely at the details of how well the caulking is shedding rainwater off the wall system, around the windows. Let's take a look inside at some more details. After we finish outside, we come indoors and look at the rooms. In the kitchen, we'll look at the gas appliances, we'll look at the plumbing fixtures. Oftentimes there's issue under the kitchen cabinet with water drips, insects or rodents, musty odors. So it's important to take a look down here. In the living room, I want to be sure we hit things like the supply registers in the floor, part of the central air system. Take a look at what's going on inside of those for dust, and check the airflow as well. After we finish the main floor, Let's check things out down in the crawl space. In the crawl space, I see some work's been done. Some plastic's been put over the soil to cover the soil, keep humidity under it. That's important. Outside, we were talking more about bulk water. Down here, it's all about dampness and humidity. Bulk water too. Be sure we don't have plumbing leaks. Be sure we don't have water coming around the foundation. But once you control that, now we're down to humidity. And that's what the plastic is for. This plastic will keep moisture that's in the soil underneath the plastic, so we can do a better job at keeping the humidity under control up above the plastic here. You know, I'm seeing on my hygrometer we've got 65% humidity. We want to get that down a little bit lower, down to maybe 50 or 55% humidity. That's an important piece of the healthiness puzzle of a house. In this house, the central heat system has some of its components down in the crawl space. The furnace is down here, the cooling coil, the condensate pump, the ductwork, all really important pieces of this air quality puzzle. How well did they heat the house and keep the occupants comfortable? How well is the air being filtered to collect particulates? What about this condensate pump removing water as it's supposed to? What about the tightness of the duct system holding in airflow or allowing duct leaks to and from the crawl space? Hey, I'm happy to see a dehumidifier down here. That's really important for a crawl space or basement. We got to keep the humidity down to 50 or 55%. And if we do that, we'll keep molds and bacteria under control. Really helpful for the healthiness of a house. We'll look at all the systems of the house. The electrical system, inside the panel box, look for frayed wires. Do the breakers work properly? Are there glass fuses? Really important piece of the safety puzzle at a house. Despite your best of efforts outside to manage that bulk water, sometimes Mother Nature's throwing everything she's got at you, and water's going to come in anyway. In this case, if you find out water's still going to puddle someplace, maybe that's the place to put a sump pump. After we finished in the crawl space, we went on up to the attic to take a look at the insulation up there, electrical up there, maybe, who knows, maybe frayed wires up there too. By golly, here they are. Insulation, rodent activity, venting, important pieces of how air moves through this system, this house system. So we looked through the whole house. We've got our to-do list of helpful projects to do to improve upon healthiness of conditions. The homeowner's going to work on some of those themselves. I'll guide them through that, show them how to do it. The homeowner's going to have a contractor do some other pieces of that puzzle. I'll answer their questions. My job is to guide you all the way through to making this a healthier house.